A Lubbock man soon to be on trial for capital murder has requested money for new clothes to wear in court. 34-year-old Brian Zuniga is behind bars at the Lubbock County Detention Center with the bond set at $1 million.
He's charged with the murder of 26-year-old David Rouser. Rouser was killed back in 2011 when police say Zuniga and another man robbed the One Guy from Italy restaurant at 50th and Quaker. Police say Rouser suffered a gunshot wound to the chest. Since Zuniga is considered indigent, the presiding judge granted his request for a clothing allowance.
KCBD News Channel 11's Shaley Sanders joins us now with more. Shaley?
Karen and Abner, Zuniga and his attorney requested $300 for clothing. The court says taxpayers will be responsible for picking up that bill. We wanted to know how often this happens and why the court believes it's so important for defendants to wear civilian clothing.
What would be your perception if you saw a couple deputies bringing a person over that was shackled and in jail clothes? I think the average person is going to go, that person's dangerous.
Jack Stoffregan is the director of Regional Public Defenders for capital cases and says that perception is not something defense attorneys want to risk. This motion states that since the court has found Zuniga indigent and since he's been incarcerated since his arrest, he has no access to appropriate clothing attire and, quote, cannot be expected to wear the same clothes every day, and counsel cannot be expected to wash them for him or make arrangements to do so, especially since the trial is anticipated to last more than 6 weeks. Zuniga's attorney requested he have up to $300 for slacks, shirts, a tie, socks, and a pair of shoes. A clothing allowance funded by
general fund taxpayers.
So how many times have taxpayers contributed to a defendant's clothing fund?
This would be the first time it's happened in at least 2 years.
Dean Stanzioni is the director of Lubbock County's court administration and says this closet in the courthouse is filled with donated clothes the defendants can borrow. So why does Zuniga get $300?
My understanding for this particular case is that because of the length of the trial, because this is a capital murder case and it's going to last, it's one of those that'll last several days, if not a few weeks. And so because of that, there's going to be a greater need for clothing over time rather than the same item every single day.
He says the court has had quite a few donations recently that they haven't had time to sort through until now. Another reason why Stanzioni says Zuniga's attorney asked for the money.
Because of the latest issue, or the latest order in finding clothing, we've started going through that process just so we're on top of things if anything comes up again.
Dean Stanzioni says once Zuniga is finished with the clothes, they will be donated to the clothing closet at the courthouse. If you would like to make a donation, you're asked to contact the administrative offices of the courts. That number is 806-775-1019. Karen and Abner.
Thank you, Shaley. Lubbock Landmark is about to receive a $750,000 makeover. The land where Manacapelli home sits in Buddy Holly Park off of North University, and it's been there for nearly 80 years. The city bought the residence back in 1980 and turned it into an event space. But since then, it's fallen into disrepair and is now closed to visitors.
Last year, the City Council approved plans to renovate the home, and now they're putting the project out to bid. KCBD News Channel 11's Shaley Sanders joins us now live from the historic home with more. Shaley?
Karen and Abner, city officials tell me about 4 years ago, the roof of this building actually came crashing down on the people renting the party house. They shut it down immediately, and you can see that the windows are still boarded up to this day. Now the city wants to remodel the home so it can once again be used by the community. The Landwehr Manacapelli home was originally built for the Landwehr family back in 1936. Mr. Landwehr taught at Texas Tech and his wife taught at Lubbock High School. They eventually sold the home to the Manacapellis, who in 1980 sold the residence to the city of Lubbock, where it was renovated into a party home and designated as a historical landmark in 1982. And now that the city council has approved a $750,000 remodel, the big question is, who was picking up the tab?
It's taxpayer dollars.
What would you say to those people that say it's a lot of money and we could have spent that elsewhere?
What I would say is that there is very few properties, especially the city owns, that we have been able to keep and acquire that does retain the historical significance of the area, and this is one of those facilities.
Wes Everett is the facilities director for the city of Lubbock, who hopes the remodel will cost less than the budget approved, but says the money is needed to pay for
ADA compliance, all new electrical, all new plumbing, all new HVAC, landscaping.
Some of the biggest concerns are that this property actually sits in the middle of a floodplain, and it's only steps away from this body of water.
Everett requested a variance so they would not have to lift the house or move it off of the current site, something he says would likely result in the loss of the structure's historical status.
Even with the rains and being right by the waterway right next to it, I've never known it to flood internally. Waters came up to the building, but it hasn't flooded inside.
There's another election to think about coming on down the road. On Saturday, May 10th, voters in 2 South Plains school districts will consider passing bond packages that total more than $140 million. Both Friendship and Lubbock Cooper ISD say they need to expand due to a growing student population.
KCBD News Channel 11's Shaley Sanders joins us now with more on how this could impact taxpayers. Shaley?
Karen and Abner, if these two bond proposals do pass, Friendship and Lubbock Cooper ISDs would have the highest school property tax rates here on the South Plains. We looked at several districts in our area to see how that increase would compare to other rates in other districts. To start, we found the top 5 highest school property tax rates on the South Plains. These numbers are per $100 valuation. Right now, Shallow Water ISD has the highest rate at $1.53. Friendship and Abernathy tie for second place with rates sitting at $1.50. However, Friendship ISD's school property tax rate could soon increase. Voters will consider an $85.2 million bond authorization package in May's election. The major projects included in that package are a new 9th grade center, an elementary school campus, and technology and security upgrades. If the Friendship bond package is approved, the rate per current state law cannot exceed $1.54. That's a rate Lubbock Cooper ISD might meet. Right now, they're 4th on the list with a tax rate of $1.48, but they too are looking to pass a bond. Their $55 million bond proposal includes expansions to their campuses, like more classrooms, a new gymnasium, a new police department building, and a career and technology building. If passed, the district's property tax rate would increase to $1.54. The 5th highest property tax rate in this area is Idalou at $1.46.